What is going on, traders? Welcome back to the Traveling Trader. Happy to be back home, back from New York. That's not why you came here. In this video, we're going to be talking about what could make the market go even crazier in the next few days. And for those of you that guessed it, if you're a fan of this channel, yes, we are talking about the infrastructure bill that just passed the Senate. Now, as I've been doing this whole time with stocks like Nucor, AMT, X, Qualcomm, etc., I'm going to be giving you some plays, and there is one that is not so obvious, but I think could actually boom here from the price point that it is at. But I'm going to be giving you some stocks to look at in order to leverage this infrastructure bill. So you definitely want to stick around for that. But before I get into it, if you get anything out of this video, leave it a big fat thumbs up just like this. Leave it in the comment section below. Let me know which one of these stocks you are trading and what stocks you think would benefit from the infrastructure bill. I love hearing from you guys. I try to respond to each and every single comment, except for those damn spammers. And follow me on IG or YouTube stories if you want to see stories from my travels. Let us get right into it. So the infrastructure bill, as I said today, just passed the Senate. Now, the way that it works in the United States, after the Senate, it has to go to the House for a vote. And if it passes the House, then it becomes law. Now, I think there's a good chance it'll pass the House, especially since the House is democratically controlled. And a lot of what is in this bill is proposed by Democrats, even though it is considered a bipartisan bill, which is how it passed the Senate in the first place. That's neither here nor there. So if you're a fan of this channel, you know that I talked about some stocks that would benefit from the passage of the infrastructure bill. One of them specifically was Nucor. Nucor is another one that I called out when it was sitting at the 100-day moving average. I personally did not have a chance to get in this. However, it was a very lucrative opportunity. Nucor is a steel company that manufactures steel products, currently sitting at almost $100. It did hit a high of 111 just a few months ago, and I do think that it will also likely benefit from the infrastructure bill if and when. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. At the time of that video, I believe it was July 28th. Yeah, Nucor was trading at 99 bucks. Surpass all-time highs. I figured that it would get at least back to all-time highs. I didn't think it would happen this fast, but I did think that it would see some tailwinds from the infrastructure bill. And a lot of the expectation of the passage of the bill is priced in, and we see that with some of these infrastructure stocks. So Nucor blasted past all-time highs. We are now at 118 bucks. Up 19% since I did that video. And I believe I talked about ChargePoint in that video as well. Yes, I talked about ChargePoint. It was sitting at 23 bucks, currently at 26 bucks. So ChargePoint well up over 10% here. Now, the infrastructure bill is very broad. It is the largest thing since FDR's Green New Deal. So the government is trying to improve America's infrastructure all across the board and bring it into the 21st century. That is why I talked extensively about companies that are involved in broadband and 5G infrastructure. That's why I talked about EV charging infrastructure, as well as some of the blue-collar, old-school stocks like steel, like Nucor Steel and Caterpillar. We also see LAC, Lithium Americas Corporation, up almost 11% today. And I've talked about FCX before, which is a metals mining company, up 22% since bouncing off of the 200-day moving average. Now, there's one aspect of the bill that we actually did not know before and were not expecting, and that specifically has to do with electric buses. So not only electric infrastructure and EVs in general, but specifically electric buses. Per this article, it says it would help school districts across the country buy clean, specifically American-made, and I'll get to why that is important in a second. American-made zero-emission buses aiming to replace the yellow school bus fleet, blah, 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 blah. Now, the reason that American-made is important here is because BYD, which is a Chinese company, leads the world in electric bus production. So the U.S. could easily import electric buses from China, but the bill focuses on creating jobs and boosting the U.S. economy, so they are focusing on American-made buses here. Now, if you did a quick Google search for American public electric bus companies, wow, that's a mouthful, you will come up with likely only one name, and that name is Proterra. This used to be a SPAC. It used to be the ArcLight Clean Transition Corp. That merger went through. Now, they are still tiny compared to BYD, but part of the reason this bill is taking place is to help boost infrastructure, meaning the government will subsidize a lot of these companies that are looking to achieve the aims that are in the infrastructure bill itself. Now, please hear me out here. I'm not saying that the government is specifically going to be working with Proterra. This is pure speculation. However, I took a look at Proterra's chart and stock price, obviously, and if you look at it, it's trading around $12. Now, the bottom, the SPAC price, the default SPAC price is $10. Obviously, after the merger, the bottom could easily be zero because it is no longer a SPAC and you can't trade in your shares for the $10 default price. However, after the merger, Proterra actually traded as high as $31. Now, I don't think it will get there in the short term. It might not even get there at all. What I'm looking for here is just pure value on a hope that we see a pop if they get announced as the go-to manufacturer for electric buses in order to achieve what is in the infrastructure bill. So here is one way that we can play this. And if you're a fan of this channel and you guessed cash secured put, you are 100% right. If we go out to December 2021, you could sell the 12.5 cash secured put on Proterra for $265. Now, what does this mean exactly? Well, what this means is that if Proterra drops below 12.5 by December 2021, December 17, 2021, and you are assigned on this cash secured put, you will be obligated to buy 100 shares of Proterra for every contract that you sold. How much are you going to buy that for? Not $12.50, because that is the strike price. You got paid $265 to sell this cash secured put. So your buy-in or your cost basis on Proterra would be 12.5 minus 265. That would bring your buy-in price under $10. You would be paying exactly $9.85 for every share of Proterra. That represents a 19% discount, and that would be the lowest price that Proterra ever traded at. Now, if Proterra pops from here and goes well above 12.5, then you keep the $265 for every contract that you sold. Obviously, if you wanted to go a little more risky, you could buy calls, but in that case, you would have to be significantly right in order to make money. But here's what else is crazy. Here's what I saw. Look at the volume and the open interest on Proterra. The market knows something. Now, you never know if these are retail traders or institutional traders mostly. However, looking at the open interest numbers, I would say that a lot of this is likely institutional. We're talking about tens of thousands for each of these strike prices. And this is a relatively short expiration date, August 20th, meaning that if we do see a passage of the bill in the House, then the market is likely betting that Proterra is going to be part of that. Again, pure speculation. Do not take my word for it. Do your own due diligence. Do your own research. Follow the news on your own. This is pure speculation. I'm just giving you guys a trade idea because we have been trading the infrastructure stocks really successfully on this channel. And I'm always looking for value and opportunity in areas where I have not exploited yet, right? And so this is one of them. So you could YOLO super out of the money calls, like the $20 call is 10 cents or the $17.50 call is 15 cents. And if we see a pop in Proterra, kind of like we saw with Nucor, kind of like we saw with LAC, American Tower Corporation, which is one of the biggest 5G REITs, saw all-time highs recently. I'll talk about this in a second because I think there's an opportunity here as well. But if we see a legendary pop to the $15, $16 level and those out of the money calls all of a sudden are in the money, then those, 10, 15 cent calls could easily be worth multiples. So that is an idea that I want to put on your radar. Again, do your own due diligence. Another stock that I'm looking at, I talked about AMT already. So AMT, we bought AMT actually a long time ago, right after the pandemic crash, and it has definitely seen highs and lows, falling to a low in March 2021 of 197 before the infrastructure bill chatter was heating up. And then when it was clear that the infrastructure bill was going to include a large allocation for 5G and broadband technology and infrastructure, you saw AMT start to climb up again. But then after killing earnings, there was a round of profit taking, and I think there's an opportunity here once again at the 50-day moving average. This is not a swing trade. AMT could easily drop to maybe the 270 mark, which we saw was previous resistance. It could act as support, but this 50-day moving average here could be a good dollar cost average starting position. If you want to wait until AMT finds support and you don't want to catch this falling knife, then wait until it finds support before jumping in. Qualcomm, you guys know that I love the semiconductors. We played AMD almost perfectly, NVIDIA almost perfectly, but Qualcomm is an American chip manufacturer. Well, technically so is AMD. However, Qualcomm is specifically focused focused in 5G. It pays a very nice, healthy quarterly dividend, currently sitting at the cluster of moving averages here. I do like Qualcomm for the very long term. It actually wasn't that long ago that Qualcomm hit a high of 167. Obviously, Qualcomm continues to beat earnings. It is just a solid blue chip that is really slow to grow, but would do well in your retirement portfolio, especially if it does see residual effects from being included in the infrastructure bill. Another major American 5G REIT that I'm looking at, and I'm waiting to see where it finds support, I'm not entering this yet, is CCI, Crown Castle International Corp. I did play this a little bit in the beginning of the year, but I haven't touched it since. And right now I'm waiting to see where it finds support before jumping in, but keep this one on your radar as well. And if you want access to all of our trades, you want access to our Discord, link is in the description below. Sign up to get access to that. Would love to have you guys. There are 5,000 traders, maybe a little bit above 5,000 at the moment, on the Discord itself. So if you want to be part of a large community, come and join us. Would love to have you. Anyway, traders, that is it for this video. If you got anything out of this video, leave it a big fat thumbs up just like this. Leave it in the comment section below. Let me know which one of these stocks you are playing. Always love hearing from you guys. Try to respond to each and every comment. Sign up if you want access to the trade alerts. Oh, and if you want to learn how to trade options, I did put together a lovely course that I spent 100+ hours on. You will also find that link in the description below. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Stay safe out there, traders. Peace.